This is my Craftsman 1 horsepower 14-inch bandsaw. I've had this about 25, maybe 30 years. This was an upgrade to my first bandsaw. My first bandsaw was an off-brand I got at a garage sale. And this little part here broke on it. Since there's only a couple of manufacturers in the world, especially 30 years ago at the time, that made bandsaws, all the Sears parts fit it. So I ordered that part from Sears. We have a Sears service center near us. So I went out there to get that part and found this bandsaw. It was an open box and it had this hairline crack here in the table. The hairline crack's been there ever since I've owned it, and I have abused it. You can see there I left looks like a bottle of glue on there for a while, and it stained it, but it served me well. I've upgraded a little bit. A little Carter stabilizer on it. Right now I have on an 1/8" blade because Abby wants to make a sign for the stall for Nugget. I said to myself the last time the Rikon 14-inch bandsaws came on sale, I was going to buy one. And I did. I pulled the trigger on that, and it's been sitting in my shop for about 2 months now. I had a big bed project I was working on and promised myself I wouldn't open this up until that bed was finished. Well, the bed's finished, and I'm just waiting for Alyssa to send me a picture of the bed set up to post those videos. But today, I'm going to unwrap this baby. Hurricane Irma is thrashing us from the outside. It's supposed to get worse this afternoon as the time goes on. And this is a perfect day to open this. I admit I'm going to read these directions. So it looks like I'm going to start with a stand. "24 of these bolts with nuts and washers on them. I took those apart off camera. Well, apparently I didn't read the directions very well, because I used my impact wrench to tighten those first two, or that first leg actually, and it doesn't want you to do that until you've attached the bandsaw to the base. That way it self-levels. Well, the winds are really picking up now from Hurricane Irma. Nothing like they had in Florida. Reach out to think about my friends and sisters in Florida and praying for them. Also, not forgetting folks in Texas. And this is 9/11 as well. So a lot of things to reflect on today. Praying for the safety of my family. I know that 2 of the girls are going to hunker down together tonight, with their families. One of them has already lost electricity in the Atlanta area. We have not lost electricity today. That's why I'm still filming this, because I have lights. But the worst is supposed to come between 7 and 9 this evening. But it's whipping around there pretty good. I see a lot of leaves and pine needles flying, and the rain is going sideways. But this is a nice distraction. Alright, the next step is to put the bandsaw on top of the base. It says if you're doing it by yourself to put it on a couple 4x4s and then put the base on, then tilt the whole thing up. I'm going to recruit my extremely strong wife to help me with this. I think it'd be a lot less trouble. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Getting up a slide, I want to lift it up.
Oh, lift it up.
So how are you look at the stand? How are we doing on the stand?
It's going to need to come back some, but we'll make it.
Don't let it fall off.
Yeah, I got it.
Woohoo! Got it.
Of course we did. Wow. Does that replace that?
Yep.
Wow, that is a big difference.
Yep, the lights were flickering there. All right, it's attached to the stand. Next step is to mount the table. It says to do it with an assistant. I'm going to see how heavy it is. I know it's heavy. I picked it up already. Let's see if I can't manage this myself and let Karen do her thing upstairs. This isn't bad. It's just a matter of getting that first screw started. All right, now it won't go anywhere. It's got some play in it now. Let's see if that wants to go in. Ah, yeah. So last thing I wanted to do is cross thread this thing. All right, those feel pretty good. I need to make sure that the blade is parallel to the table, to the slots here, miter slots. So it says to put a steel ruler there and check it on both ends. I don't think I'm going to get much more accurate than that. So the tricky part now is to tighten the bolts underneath there and not have it move. So they're just about a half a turn off. I'm going to tighten each one a little bit at a time and then recheck it. Next thing to do is to put the fence guide rail on here. Mine does not look like it does in the picture. In the picture, theirs comes up to 0 here. Mine is way past that. It doesn't matter which side I put it on. It has increments on both sides, but this puts 10 over here. That just doesn't seem right. So I'm going to put it on like this and hope for the best. A bit tricky, not a lot of room to move there. But it's going to go on. Make sure that these are equal at both ends. And I think they are. A bit hard to measure. That feels the same on both sides. So I think that's parallel. I don't see how that table leveler is not going to be in the way. Bolts right back here I put on without showing you, but it holds the fence when it's not in use, which is pretty clever. Time to install the knobs. I have spent the last half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, making adjustments here and there. The biggest problem I had was the back one, the back adjustment. It's still maybe less than a 30-second off in the back. And what I mean by that is right back here. Boy, that seems like it should go up and down a lot easier than it does. I'm going to have to adjust that. Maybe this is it. Oh yeah. I forgot to loosen the bar. Anyway. Right here. just a little more light down there than there is up here. And there's two little set screws underneath there in the back, and it's set counterclockwise is one way, clockwise is the other. I could not move those. It did not want to move. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway, I thought it might be part of the tracking, and I've checked the tracking like they said, and it's not. So I'm ready to turn this machine on for the first time. I'll stand out of harm's way. Make a nice little push block here. Let me round off this corner. All right, there we go. So now, instead of having magnets hold my wrenches for adjustments, I have this fancy little tool holder. Also a tool holder for my push stick, which I forgot I had there when I made my test cut. Really looking forward to the height advantage. It goes up to like 13 inches, 12 and a half, 13 inches, whereas my Craftsman was limited to about 6. So I think that's going